Hey everybody, Stiglr here, and we're going to do another unboxing. This just ended up in my hot little hands a few minutes ago. This is the newest release from Clash of Arms entitled Wings of the Motherland. The Air War over Russia, 1941 to 1945. This is the latest installment in the J.D. Webster series called Fighting Wings. And it is a tactical air game of very high complexity, and this is following on games situated over Europe, that being Achtung Spitfire, and over the Reich, and then they made a jaunt to the Pacific with Whistling Death. So this is the Eastern Front addition to that series. Long overdue and long awaited. So let's have a look at the back here. And we see it's got two back printed, very nice large size maps. One all water, three of various land masses, bunch of counters, bunch of books here. Let's rip the shrink wrap off this and see what we got. Looks like my box endured a little bit of battle damage itself during the transit. I got a little bit of a ding here, and you can feel a crease there in the back, but, well, that's what happens. All right. So the box itself has kind of a slightly textured feel to it. Very interesting. All right, so inside we've got 10-sided die, red, of course, for the VVS. And we start with a rules supplement. And this kind of explains some of the basics of air tactics expressed with the system. It is a pretty detailed system based on using these cards, one for each aircraft or aircraft family, and you use these basic charts to determine how well it can maneuver. And then there are a lot of other system cards that are used to further delineate maneuvers, combat, spotting, bombing, all that sort of thing. It's actually a very, I would say, almost chart-bound system. It takes a lot of your attention away from the map at times, but it's still well worth it for the realism and the attention to aerodynamic detail. Get some of the maps out here. This is one of the land maps. You can see large city here. Perhaps I can fill in for Stalingrad or even Moscow if you're really into an interesting what-if type of scenario. And on the back, we have more wooded terrain here to maneuver over. That's one map. Here we have the counters. We'll take these out and put those aside for a second and get to the second map. Here we have more of the Russian steppes, I suppose. One town in the middle and a stream or river and lots of fields of grain. And then the back of this would be just our standard blue sea map. good feel to them, not too heavy, not too light. Then we move into the latest edition of the Fighting Wings rules. These have been upgraded, not just to fit in the Soviet style of combat, but overall for all of the games. The rules have been redone. So as you can see, it's pretty text heavy, and there's a lot in there. As you can see from the table of contents, flight, air combat, flying missions, blowing things up. There's a lot to contend with there. Then after that, we have our scenario book. And this one actually is thick enough to even have a nice hard binding to it. There are some 70 scenarios tucked in here. So you got all kinds of missions in various eras. So I'm sure we'll run the gamut from straight dogfights to air superiority missions, to bombing missions, to Stormovik attack missions on armor, all of that. So there's a lot of value in having 70 scenarios packed into the box. Here we have an ad for an additional title. And then here we have all of the data cards. As I said before, there's one for each plane or each plane family, detailing the basics of their maneuvers. These are all in here. Also, there are ships to contend with. There are damage capabilities, flak abilities. That's in here. Then we have our counters. Got one sheet of just aircraft counters of various types. Let's see if we can get these in here a little tighter where you can see them. And following that, more general target counters for flak, ground targets, installations, infantry, trucks, general targeting. And finally here we have another booklet of just the play aids. And here are just some general aids to show you how the 3D airspace is represented in the game. Various tables that you'll refer to early and often for basic combat, formation, flying, how to move to and from combat in a scenario where the aircraft can come from a great distance apart, and the variables of where they meet, who has the advantage, who has the altitude, and where they are in relation to each other can be randomized. So you don't always have a 12 o'clock on 12 o'clock joust for every engagement. There's some more ships, kind of an adjunct counter sheet there. And more ads there in the bottom of the box. So, as you can see, there's quite a bit to this. This should keep me busy for a long while, both in just learning the rather hefty rules and also coming to grips with the specialties of Eastern Front combat. So this has been Wings of the Motherland unboxing. Air War over Russia, 1941 to 45. And we'll see you soon.